Chris Lovell here with another edition of Patriot Talk with my man Joe Sexton, and Colton Coons taking care of us as always. It's a tough one to do. It's kind of wrap up the season. Obviously it did not go well this last weekend, and so that theoretically it ends the season for the Patriots in their first year of varsity competition. But so we'll kind of talk big picture here, and then maybe look ahead a little bit. Just a real quick, that your last game, you lose it in overtime. I mean, you're right there.
Yep. Yeah, another overtime loss.
And that's just kind of been the theme of your season, is just being close, but not being able to finish it. Yeah.
Pretty well sums it up.
Yeah. Is that something? Because I think you made a quote about this after the game. You kind of talked about it. You were like, we've just got to learn how to finish and to focus for four quarters. Is that part of the maturation process here?
It is. And same thing happened in this game. We just have a hard time, holding up against, bigger athletes. Next year, we're not going to be able to talk about this because we are going to be the bigger athletes. We've been talking to our kids the last couple of days with our end-of-season meetings that we've been having, and we are going to be the bigger athletes next year, and we're going to just make a point of we're just going to make that happen.
Like sprinkle fairy dust on them, or just
it's that big old room full of weights.
Yeah, no, I understand.
We're going to be hitting that about four times a week, and so we're not gonna have. Last year we really didn't have a great place to lift, and we've got the perfect facility set up right now, so we're gonna be doing it. So
okay. What is the message to your team as they finish up their first varsity season? You played a really tough non-district schedule. We're competitive in most of your district games, other than a couple. And like you look at it, the last couple of weeks, you're the team that won the district. You're hammering them at your place, 27-14.
Well, the big thing that we talked to them about this week was, there were 12 football teams that were on our schedule, counting our two scrimmages. And I think 11 of those teams are all in the playoffs right now. So I really didn't do us a whole lot of favors with the schedule that we come up with, or that we had. And it was tough. It was very tough. And it's going to be, it'll be just as tough next year. But I think this season's going to prepare us for bigger and better things down the road. Doesn't help us very much right now, but I think the schedule that we played this year is going to pay off.
Yeah, and back to the scheduling thing, you kind of you're in a unique position. You're kind of just trying to take games,
right? And
there's only so many 4A programs in the general part of the state, unless you want to play bigger schools, which you don't want to do that, and
Yeah, it was tough trying to find games, and you definitely have to take what you can get. When you're looking for games, you can't be particular about what you've got. So I think that all these tough teams that we played, most teams that we played had 17 to 25 seniors on it, and they're going to be losing a lot. Our JV went 10-0. Our freshmen went 6-4, so we have some super players coming. We've got a really, really good freshman class that are going to be coming in next year. So, we're not losing anybody, and we're gaining a heck of a lot of talent. So, I think the Patriots are going to be really strong in the next season.
And this is the last time you'll ever be able to say, or right now is the last time you can ever say we don't have any seniors.
Right.
Because that page gets turned next year. It's not like you'll have a ton, but you will have some seniors.
We'll have probably 15 to 17 seniors next year, and that's
about normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you should have every year. But these guys have weathered the storm, so to speak, and I think we're going to be a lot better next year.
So what now? Everybody kind of disperses and goes and plays other sports and things like that. But when you did talk to them, because I think you had exit meetings,
right?
take me through that process. Do you meet with each player individually? Does each player actually meet with you, or just their position coach? Or?
Well, so the way we did it this year, we kind of changed it up just a little bit. Last year we met individually, and it took a really, really, really long time to do. And we've got basketball that has already started, and we didn't want to take away from other sports from us having our meetings. So we just met as a group. So we met with each position group, and we put our JV kids and our varsity kids together. So we met with all the O linemen at once, and then all the defensive linemen at once.
Okay.
And then, we gave everybody an opportunity. Like, if you want to come talk to your position coach, or you want to come talk to me individually, just come tell us, and we'll have individual meetings if we needed to. But we needed to expedite the process just a little bit, because we've got several kids that are, under the gun getting ready for basketball. Coach Hicks is about to set his teams either today or tomorrow. So, we don't have that luxury of taking all that extra time. So, and in those meetings, we just, the first thing that came out of my mouth was how much I appreciated all the kids, everything that they've done. They've done everything that we've asked them to do. It's been, we didn't have a lot of wins this year, but it's been a really, really enjoyable season for the coaching staff. We have super kids. They worked hard. Did we not win a whole lot? But I think we learned a lot of valuable lessons that are probably going to help us out. So that was one of the first things that I talked about was, just the appreciation for all the kids playing, because football is not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of time, and wear and tear on the body is a big thing. And
and the mind.
We had
grind,
when we tried to really limit how much time that we spent. We were very mindful of everybody's time, the coaches, and you don't want to get to this time of the year and dread coming to work. I've been in that situation some where you wake up for the playoffs and you're like, oh man, I got to go to work. But not one day in the last 2 years have I ever considered what I do work. I get to come hang out with some really good coaches and some really great kids. And so it was a very enjoyable year for us.
And you'll have kids that some will. Tell me about the off-season program. Some kids that don't go to their football only.
Right.
They just kind of stay in an off-season.
Well,
and I guess you want them living in the weight room.
Right. It's gonna take us a little bit to get our routine down. Our principal came by and asked me how I was doing yesterday, and I'm like, I'm kind of all.
Yeah.
Because, for
You've
the
been
past,
so routine-oriented.
past 3 months, we've had a pretty good routine down where, we got practice, we have after-school practice, and, rinse and repeat there. But then last 2 days, it's been kind of weird, at 4 o'clock, you're like, gosh.
Yeah, the machine stopped.
There's nobody here. There's no kids coming in, and it's very quiet in the field house. So, but yeah, the way we do it is, if you're a basketball athlete right now, we send you to basketball, and I trust our coaches. I trust Coach Hicks to keep those kids in the weight room, and I trust all the other coaches, because when it comes time for their season, they leave the off season and they go do their own sports. Because I think it's very, very selfish for me to go, okay, I want to hoard all these kids, and so they need to be working on whatever sport that they're doing. Once track gets here, the track guys will go to track. And
you got basketball, you got wrestling, you got
baseball.
powerlifting.
Yeah,
baseball,
so all of those guys, I trust those coaches that they're going to lift those kids. And then when we get them back after their sport's over, they'll plug right back into what we're doing, and off we go. We'll start doing some spring football, sometime after, track's done. And
like actual spring football, or just mixing some stuff
No,
in?
just shorts and T-shirt, during the athletic period.
Gotcha.
We'll still be 4A, so we're not allowed to do any helmets and shoulder pads. So we're just going to, try to refresh just a little bit, and pretty much everything that offensive and defensively, unless we see we're going to start reviewing a whole lot of film too. So if we see something we don't like or we need to change, we'll do that, and then we'll start implementing that in the spring whenever we get to that point. But I hope track goes, all the way to the middle of May. That means that they've made it to the state track meet, and we hope baseball plays till June because that means that they're in the state tournament. So it's we won't see a lot of those kids, but I do put the trust in those coaches to make sure they're in the weight room.
But your school is changing.
It is.
Yeah, your school is changing, and it's not necessarily going to be a real small school environment too much longer.
No, it's really not. Especially, so our seniors our kids that'll be seniors next year, they will probably, there's 130, 125 of those kids. So they go out, and then our freshman class, 250, 300. So we're going to start jumping pretty quick. Yeah. Because what's coming in is
a lot bigger than what's
going out. So it's going to change.
Yeah, and like for example, next year, when you don't really have a graduating class, you're just adding, what's the freshman group like that?
We haven't really looked, but I'm going to say probably 65.
Okay.
That'd be a good guess about how many are coming.
But you're just talking football players. I was just talking about like freshmen.
Freshmen in general, 250.
Yeah. So just get added to the building with nobody leaving, compared to this year. That doesn't count anybody that moves in or transfers over or whatever it may be. So, well, I hate it. It's under these terms, but I knew we wanted to give you a chance to kind of go over and wrap it up. But I've enjoyed your time all season. Certainly, have appreciated that. You had some really good young players emerge. I'll forget some of the folks on defense, but I mean, just watching Colton Bouchard do what he did. You look at some of the numbers that he put up. I mean, 17 Ds, 4 interceptions, was passed for 1,200 yards. I just thought he really kind of
he improved as we went. And it was
Talon Wilcox.
Talon was
over
1,000
yards. Yeah.
And if you see Talon, that's a lot of wear and tear on that frame that he has. So.
And he probably needs the mental break and the body to be rested as much as anybody.
Because his body takes a beating.
It's like a catcher in baseball.
Yeah, but he's so resilient, man. He got hit the other night, and I was like, oh Lord. But he pops right back up and back in the huddle, and off he goes. So and then Colin Chadwick, same way.
Yeah.
He had some devastating blocks the other night.
I love that you say that every time we talk about running game and all that, you always talk about pass pro when it comes to the running back.
He's just, and he enjoys it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of running backs really like a lot of contact sometimes.
Collision,
But he's kind of funny about it. He's bring it on. Sometimes he's so overzealous about trying to blow somebody up, and then get that little dodge and coach.
I missed him.
Yeah,
that's right. But like Coleman Hendricks emerging, and I think he led your team in touchdown receptions, and he only played with the last 4 or 5 games?
Yeah, I think he started the Seminole game somewhere in there.
Okay, so the last half of the season, but
there was a lot of great things that happened, and that I think that overshadows our record in my mind, just as just all the good things that happened.
Yeah, and that's what you'll build off of. So, anyways, we won't. We may get the old Coach Sexton here and chop it up a little bit. But so we're a bit early, but Thanksgiving is coming up, so I can't let you out of here with some shenanigans at the end. Yeah,
I like it.
So, pie choice for you on Thanksgiving is what?
I'd say my favorite all-time pie is probably got to be coconut cream.
Are you doing that? Are you doing that to troll? Are you doing that to troll me?
Just to trigger you. No, I really do like coconut. It's good, but pecan pie. I like a pecan pie
with ice cream or just by itself.
Gosh, it's pretty good by itself.
I know. No, I don't disagree.
And
a lot of sugar and butter in there with some goodness. Yeah.
My dad used to say there's no bad pie. You know,
unless it's got coconut in it, but
I knew
but,
that
but
would
that's
get you.
but that's a fair. It's
yeah.
it's like pizza. It's kind of hard to screw up pizza. It's like
Yeah.
there's no bad pizza.
You know, so yeah, I would say one of my
Pecan,
favorites.
okay.
Pecan, yeah.
Pumpkin, no.
I'll eat it.
Chocolate. Where you at on meringue?
Calf slobber. That's what it kind of looks like.
I agree totally. I mean, are you thumbs up on meringue?
I like very little. You know, sometimes you'll get a piece of coconut pie that's got
It's the
a
most
big piece.
worthless culinary invention.
Yeah.
And it takes
Well, you
an
know, it's
enormous
all about-
amount of time.
It's all about the look.
Which is you're eating it. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, meringue is just terrible. I mean, if I had 3 thumbs down, I'd but I'm just gonna do the 2.
Well, is there no meringue on like chocolate pie?
You can, but I mean, a lot of people do the
Just
whipped cream,
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, you know,
like a sane person would.
You know, one of my favorite places that I used to go eat was Furs, just because of all. That's such a shame Furs closed down.
You know, the old cafeteria, that the whole premise of that is just kind of gone.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. I mean, it's kind of like the VCR or a phone booth.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, young person, do you remember going to the cafeteria or Furs or Luby's or whatever after church? I don't know what you're talking about. And then at that point you go, 1, oh man, I'm really old, and 2, you're like, that's so sad that that there's a whole
Furs,
generation that won't.
You know, that used to be, starting in about 05, that was Cooper football's thing.
Sure.
Furs.
Yeah.
I mean, we load up, we go to Furs for our pregame meal, and kids loved it. I think Colton probably went to Furs a couple of times.
Yeah. But we weren't going to talk about that. There's been they wrote him up. There's been an incident in this file. I'm kidding. Yeah, because it was a pitch till you win. Yeah,
Well,
and they're like, do you want Jell-O? Do you want a dessert? Would you like a roll? Do you want an entree? Do you want a salad?
one
And you're just
point-
going, yes.
I think at one point they said, hey, you can only get like 2 meats at a time, because as soon as they'd see our offensive line coming, they would be like, okay, guys, y'all can only get 2 meats.
What are you serving pregame meal to your team these days?
A lot of it depends.
Nothing as great as Furs.
No, we just didn't have the time to do that. I think I want to improve our pregame meals, because a lot of times, like if it was a home game, we didn't get out of class till the bell rang. So, our first group went out at 5:30, so we didn't have a lot of time. I didn't want to stuff them. So most of the time we just had some sort of sandwich, or a Chick-fil-A grilled sandwich, or something light. We didn't want them eating a 3-course meal before they try to go out.
Yeah, you want to eat after.
Because you don't want to go out in 100-degree heat after eating all that.
Might give it back.
Yeah, you don't want to give it all.
Might give it back. It's waste of money.
Yeah. So.
And calories. Yeah.
Yeah, big waste.
Right. All right, Coach. Appreciate the time, man.
You bet.
We'll be in touch. Appreciate my man, Coach Sexton. He is good people. So with that, we're gonna wrap up another edition of Patriot Talk for Chris Level, for Joe Sexton, and for Colton Coons, who's not allowed to go to Furs anymore. We'll talk to you next time.